Hey guys, welcome back. This is Bernardo from the BTN HD and Happy New Year. Welcome back 2015. So let's get started strong. So we're going to be doing an SCCM 2012 playlist series for you guys. This is the first one. I already installed everything beforehand because the reason why is I'm trying to keep the videos kind of short and simple for you guys and elaborate a little bit more at my site. So I have all my notes right here. And so let's get started. Now, with SCCM, there's two ways to do it. You can either build a central administration site or a standalone SCCM server. If you do the standalone server, that means you're not going to be taking care of, I believe, 10,000 or 50,000 plus clients. If you are going to take care of 50,000 plus clients, that means you need to add additional primary servers, as well as you need a centralized server to do reporting and control of the client. So I'm going to show you guys how to build the CAS as well as a primary server and get yourself up and running. Now, the only reason that you need a central administration site is for administration, to do all your administration as well as your reporting. You should probably only consider installing a CAS if you intend to manage more than 100,000 clients. Why? Because the limit for a primary site is only 100,000 clients. So if you want to manage more than that, you will need more than one primary, and therefore you need a central administration site. So as you can see, I'm using Parallels. I know using a Mac Parallels, but hey, it was working for me. I built 3 virtual machines: BJAD, BJCAS, and BJPS. BJAD is basically my Active Directory. I'm running DNS, I'm running DHCP. Hopefully you guys know how to get that up and running with no problem. My CAS is where my central administration site console is going to be, and all the other stuff that I'm going to show you guys how to do. And the primary server, again, I'm going to show you guys on the later video, but I'm going to be taking care of the AD stuff as well as the CAS stuff for you right now. The first thing that I did was within my Active Directory, I created a couple of accounts. One of the accounts I created was a client install. I did a report user, SCCM, NAA, and SMS admin. So the reason that I did these, and I also created a regular user, BJ user. My client install is a domain user used for installing the configuration manager client for the client push. It's always best practice that you have a specific user account that pushes out the clients to all your machines. Report user account, created that because that is a domain user for the reporting services part of SCCM 2012. BJ user for me is my test user, as I want to test it out in more like in a user environment. And my SMS admin is my domain user. This is the account that I'm going to be logging into my CAS server as well as my primary server. Okay, first thing that you need to do is, once you got both of your machines up and running, fully installed, add your SMS admin to your local admin group. So I went into my computer management, went to administration, and within here I added my client install as well as my MS admin account. My MS admin is the one that I'm going to be logging into both servers to do all the configuration and installation. The client install needs to have an administrative rights to when it comes down to pushing out the client to the machines on the network. So most likely the way that you do this is you're going to be creating a GPO on your infrastructure to push out those 2 accounts to give them admin rights to each individual machine on your environment. So first thing that you guys need to do is you need to create a system management container. So it's the way that you create a system management container, you need to do this on Active Directory. So within Active Directory, you want to open up your ADSI. So let's go into the ADSI. Awesome. And within there, you want to go into expand your domain controller, and you want to go into the container of system. You want to right click on this, and you want to go to new, and you want to create a new object. You want to create a new container, so pick container, click next. Now the specific name that you could give I think for building an SCCM 2012, I think the name should be System Management. Once you type in System Management, click Next, and you're good to go. I already created that. Like I said before, my System Management is right there. When you do the installation of SCCM 2012, the way that you know everything is working properly is that your container, your new container that you created beforehand, before installing, is going to get pre-populated with an entry. And if that happens, that means it is working with no problem through your network. The next thing that you guys need to do is, once you're done with the ADSI, you can close that up because we won't be needing that at all. You want to delegate permissions to your system management container. So you need to do is open up your Active Directory user and computers console, and then from here you want to go to View and Advanced Features. And the reason why you want to do Advanced Features because you want to go into the System folder. And within System folder, you're going to try to locate your System Management folder. So the System Management folder is right here. And I already gave delegate rights to my CAS as well as my primary server. So the way that you do it is you right click on the node, you go to Delegate Control, and you go to Next. What you want to do from here is you want to add your users. Not your users, you actually want to add your computer. So let's click on Add, and automatically it's going to go and select users, groups, and built-in security principles. So you want to go to Objective Types, go to Computers, click OK. You want to locate your CAS as well as your primary server. So I'm going to check the name on that. Once you do that for these two servers, the permissions that you want to do, I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to press OK because I already did this already. So I'm going to click on Next. And the permissions that you want to do is you want to do a create a custom task to delegate. Go to Next. Pick this folder, existing objects in this folder, and creation of new objects in this folder. You want to make that. Click on Next. And then from here, you want to give it property specifics, creation, deletion of specific child objects, and you want to give it full control. Now you're going to be giving every primary server that you enter into your infrastructure, you have to give it these delegation rights within this container for SCCM 2012 to work properly throughout your network. Once you give all the full control, hit Next, finish it off, and then you're good to go. Again, I'm going to right click on my node, go to Properties. I already did this already, so if I go to Security, and within the security node, as you can see, I have my CAS and my PS, which is my primary server, already with permissions. I already gave all the permissions that I need that container to have. Now, the next thing that you need to do is extend your Active Directory schema for your configuration manager. The way that you do that, within the ISO of your SCCM 2012 or your CD, whichever way that you guys receive the SCCM 2012 installation files, you guys want to go inside the bin folder and extend your schema for your Active Directory, right? So I'm going to go into my C drive, and I already have my SCCM stuff already extracted to my C drive. And then from here, you guys want to go into SMS setup. Within there, you want to go into your bin. This is a 64 infrastructure installation, and then from here you want to locate what is it? Yes, you want to locate this particular application, which is the Extend Active Directory Schema. You're going to double click on that. It's going to load up your command prompt, and it's going to extend your Active Directory. Now, the way that you know if it went successful is if you go to your C drive, there's going to be a nice little log file. If you double click on the log file, you should get successfully extended the Active Directory schema. If you get this, awesome. If you don't, the log file will identify the problem and you need to troubleshoot a little bit more. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do, or the next thing that I did, was I created a GPO for my SQL server. I'm going to be doing SQL server replicating, right? I'm going to be doing SQL replication throughout the network. So that means that I'm going to have multiple servers being replicated especially the database. If you're dealing with multiple clients like that, like 100,000 clients in your network, you can't really depend on one database. It's best practice to have multiple databases throughout your network replicating. So we're gonna do a group policy to open up the basic TCP ports for our SQL server, and that would be 1433 as well as 422. You probably changed it, but again, you could create a group policy. It really depends on how you got your infrastructure built. If you have a firewall in place, most likely your firewall is taking over dealing the traffic between those ports. If not, a group policy is the best way to do it. And so the group policy, I did my group policy for the entire Active Directory, but it's not a best practice. Best practice is you want to link this group policy within the node or the container where your CAS and your primary servers are located. Okay, so from here, I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to go to edit because I want to show you guys where I found all that information from. And let's expand this a little bit. And then from here, you want to go into your computer configuration. You want to go into policies. And within policies, you want to go into, believe, Windows settings. Within Windows settings, once it loads up, you want to get into your security settings. So let's go into our security settings, expand that a little bit. Let me just move this a little bit for you guys so you guys can view it. And you want to go into the Windows firewall with advanced security node, which is right here. Excellent. And we need to expand this. And we are creating an inbound rule. Now the inbound rule is basically you're opening up ports for TCP for 1433 as well as 4022, right? 4022. It's right there in my face. I'm just trying to remember it. But those are the two ports that you need to open up. Most likely, if you have a SQL database administrator, he probably use different ports. So just again, make sure you're using the correct ports to open up for your database. Once you do the group policy, once you extend your Active Directory and you create your accounts, you add your accounts to your two servers as local admins, it's time to install all the goody features that you need for this to work properly. So I'm going to close all that up. I'm just going to show you guys that if you go to my computer node, both the CAS as well as PS is installed or added into my domain controller. So everything is working seamless, knock on wood, right? So I'm going to minimize the Active Directory right now because I won't be needing it as this moment because I'm going to be doing everything inside our CAS server. So I'm going to minimize that. Yes, I am using TeamViewer and I am remoting into my Mac Pro machine using Parallels, showing you guys how to configure SCCM 2012 onto a Windows Server 2012. Holy moly, isn't that a crazy thing, right? But it works. So now we are going to be doing a lot of stuff within our CAS server, our Central Administration Site server. So from here, we need to install a lot of stuff. So I'm going to go inside my Windows Server Manager. I'm going to go to Manage, and I'm going to go Add Roles and Feature. And again, I already done all this beforehand. And the reason I did all this beforehand is because I didn't want to wait and show you guys like click here, and we needed to wait and go back, but whatever. So I'm going to click Next. Click Next on this. And from here, what we need to add, by default, you're going to be getting the web services. Now, actually, not by default. Let me correct myself. You need to add web services, and within web services, you need to add a crap load of stuff. Trust me, you have to add a lot of stuff. You need to pick everything inside the common HTTP features. Everything you only need from the health and diagnostics. You need to do HTTP log, logging tools, request monitor, tracing. For performance, we need static content compression. For security within the web services, we need request filtering, basic authentication. And for application development, we're doing .NET 3.5 as well as 4.5, ASP, ASP.NET 3.5 and 4.5, ISAIP extensions, as well as filters. So and then for management tools, most likely you need the management tools so you guys could control and configure IIS, because that's going to be a later on video, so stay tuned for that. I did the IIS Management Console, as well as IIS 6 Metabase, Management, Scripting, WMI, and also the management scripts and tools. There's a lot of features and roles that you guys need to install. So those are all the roles that you need for this to work properly. Now, if you didn't catch all that, don't worry. There is going to be a write-up on all this information and what you guys need within the roles and features. So let's click on next. The next thing that you need to do on features is you definitely need to have .NET Framework 3.5 and you need 4.5 as well. You also need BITS, which is Background Intelligence Transfer Services, and you need the IIS server extensions installed for BITS. The next thing that you need to have is remote differential compression. So those are the stuff that you need for your roles and features. Again, I'm going to be posting it up at my site. So, and then the link is going to be at the bottom of the description so you guys can check that out. So those are the roles and features that you need for your CAS. Now, if you are following me with the series and you are building a primary server, the primary server is the same as the CAS, but there's a catch during the SCCM installation. So all the features and roles that you installed on your CAS, you have to do the same thing with your primary server. Okay? I'm going to say it again. All the roles and features that I went over on the CAS, you have to do the same thing to your primary server. Okay? If you're adding additional primary servers into your infrastructure, you have to add the same roles and features to those machines. Now, the next thing is you need to install SQL Server. I have a post that I'm going to post at the bottom of the description so you guys can check out. It has some problems during the installation of my SQL database. The SQL database should be installed before you start installing your SCCM 2012 on your machine. Also, if you already have a SQL Server into place, awesome. The requirements are at my site, so check out that link. I think right now SCCM 2012 only supports Server 2008 R2 with, I believe, the cumulative update of 9 or higher. It doesn't support SQL Server 2014. It kind of does, but again, check out my site with the article that I wrote because it gives you great detail on that. So I already have SQL Server 2008 R2 fully up to par, up to date, already installed. Now you need to install SQL Server on your CAS as well as your primary server. The reason why is because I'm going to be doing SQL replication throughout the series, and I want to show you guys how that stuff works with the configuration manager. Okay, so you already install all the roles, all the features within your CAS as well as your primary server. You install your SQL database within your CAS as well as your primary server. Make sure, this is a key point, make sure if you guys did install SQL Server within your CAS server as well as your primary, they have to have different instances. They can't have the same instance. So my instance for my database here, so I'm going to open it up, is actually CAS. So I'm going to be logging into the database called CAS. If I log into my primary server's database, it's going to be PS. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys right now that the database has to be different. It can't be the same instant. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I'm going to cancel this out because I'm not going to really log in. Awesome. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do once your SQL database is up and running with no problem, you have different instances between both servers, it's time to start your installation. So you're going to double click on your exe file, start it up, or I think it's called the Splash. It's called like a Splash. It's like an HTML application within the CD of your SCCM 2012 or your ISO or whatever way you got your installation file. There's a Splash folder, which is an HTML application. When you double click on it, this pops up. You click on install. You get before you begin, it gives you a nice little wizard, stuff that you need to do before everything works. You need to verify that the Microsoft SQL Server installation is available. It's supported for your configuration manager. You gotta identify if your FQDN fully qualified domain name of the computer that is running your Microsoft SQL Server is working, no problem. You have to meet all these 4 things before you even start. Click on next, you get this. Now, if you're doing a standalone server, you're going to do install configuration manager primary site, and then you're good to go. Okay, but we're not doing that. We're kind of splitting the workload throughout our infrastructure. So what we're going to do on this video is we are installing a configuration manager central administration site. Click on that. If you have a license edition of a product into the license, I'm not. I have a eval edition. Agree and accept the terms. For some reason, you need to check all of these 3. If you don't check these 3, the installation process is not going to continue. It kind of sucks that they did this. Once you click all 3, you hit next. You pick your location of where your downloads are going to be placed. I placed it on the C drive, created a folder called temp downloads, and I dropped everything there. I don't think that's best practice. A matter of fact, it's not best practice to drop that stuff in the C drive. If you have a D drive, drop it in your D drive. I kind of recommend doing all this installation on the D drive, like a separate partition, not on your C drive. Once you do that, click next. Depending, it's about 56 files that gets downloaded. They're all cabinet files or CAB files. Click once that's done, you get to this point, your client language selection. For me is English, even though I can't speak proper English. Click next. Now it's time to enter your site code, your site name. Now these 2 things are very important. Once you enter it, you can't change it. Okay. So my site code and my site name, I kept it simple as CAS because that's the server that I'm using, Central Administration Site. And my site name is SCCM 2012 Configuration Manager. Again, you guys can customize it the way that you want it for your work environment. Installation folder is going to be the C drive. That's the default location, but you guys are able to change it. I do recommend changing it to a partition like a D drive, right? And install the configuration manager console. I do want that, so let's click next. And then from here, either expand an existing standalone primary into a hierarchy, or you want to install a first site into a new hierarchy. Now you want to do is install a new first site. Okay, that's what we're doing on this one. Click next. And by default, if you have your SQL Server on the same server as where you're going to be installing your configuration manager, your SQL Server name, your FQDN is going to pop up with no problem. If it doesn't, that means you have your SQL database on another server inside your network. You got to enter the fully qualified domain name. The instant name, again, like I told you guys, it has to be different. For me, I added CAS. Database name is going to be CMCAS, and the service broker port, I left it as 4022. If this goes through with no problem, and you get to this point right here, which is your SMS provider settings. By default, your SMS provider is your server. It's the server that you're installing this into. Customer experience, this is up to you if you guys want to join. I did not join, so I click next. A nice little setting summary. Once you're satisfied, you're going to click next. And it's going to start checking a prerequisite check to make sure that everything that you've done is correct. If not, you have to go fix it. For me, at first, I didn't get everything. You need to install Automated Deployment Toolkit, Windows 8 ADK. And what else you need to install? Yeah, I think you need to install that. You also need to install WSUS, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to do that later on and show you guys how to configure that because that's a little different. Also, configuration of SQL Server memory usage. There's another thing you need to do, but I didn't really do it because I don't really think I need it. But you do need to configure your server memory usage. I'm going to do a write-up on that part rather than showing you guys how to do it on the video, right? So the memory stuff for the SQL Server, I'm going to do a write-up, so stay tuned for that. Hit begin. It's going to start installing its goodness. Depending on your hardware, it took me about 15 to 25 minutes. Installation was a success. Awesome. And once it's a success, you are able to start your manager. You know, you got your configuration manager is up and running with no problem. And that's it. I have 178 days left, so that means I gotta work really hard for this series before this expires on me. And that's it, guys. That is how you get yourself up and running. Get yourself up and running with a central administration site. I think on the next video we're gonna go over how to configure your primary server. Again, your primary server should be configured just as your CAS server. Again, with all the roles and features should be the same as your primary server, as well as the SQL database. You want to install your SQL Server 2008 R2, give it a different instant, make sure that's up to par, and then on the next video I'm going to show you guys to get up and running on that server. So the primary server as well as your CAS server is talking together, and then we're going to start working with discovery and boundaries and deployment and application deployment, Windows updates deployment, all that goodness that SCCM 2012 is able to do for you. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this first part. Many more to come for this year, for 2015. Leave comments right below if you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, again, leave it at the bottom. Check out the description for all the links and all the information for this particular video. Don't forget about hitting that like button because it does support the video as well as it supports this guy. Yes. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.